Oh, hello and welcome back to the West Ham Network for your David Moyes press conference. Yes, I am in association with our good friends over at Knees Up Mother Brown, kumb.com. Get across there and, of course, check them out. But I am here to bring you the daily dose of the press conference. And David Moyes has been a busy man with his good friend Vladimír Coufal stepping up forward for the presser, especially as we've got such an important game coming up, of course, against Gent. God, I've just realised that there's a little boo-boo in the old title there. So I do apologise ahead of that. Let me just quickly make sure that is changed because I'm very silly for putting the wrong bloody team in. As you can understand, that sometimes happens, and that's what happens when you're doing a live. So I'll quickly just jump in there, change that now, and put that in, which in it is, of course, done. Anyway, I'm going to go through the presser. You've got a chance to come and join me, ask some questions if you want, and we'll get started on the particular show today. Now, first up, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a support if you can. That really does help the channel out. And hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as well. We've had loads of stuff coming your way. We've got the predicted show, predicted 11 for tomorrow. We'll have you some team news. We'll give you a match day live. We'll give you a review as well for the game. And yeah, there's much more to come from on the first one of today, and that is Vladimír Coufal stepped up first in the box. First question, answer some questions from the press and the media, and he says on how important was it that West Ham won the game on Saturday, and his response to that was, everyone knows it was a very important win for us. We are able to breathe a bit easier, but the situation is not where we want to be, so we have to keep going and get more wins. So nothing really different, nothing new, nothing that we don't expect for him to say. It doesn't massively give us breathing space. When you're talking about breathing space, you're talking about millisecond, tiny amounts of space between us and that bottom three. And it can absolutely change come this weekend again. So it's vital that we get some momentum, some consistency in getting the victory today, and now backing up that victory at the weekend and try and do something against Arsenal. Huge ask, but we never know what can happen. The next question he was asked, though, was what was the toughest game that we've had in Europe this season? And he said, I would say we had a dramatic game at Silkeborg on the artificial grass, and they played with good combinations. We were losing, but we managed to win in the end, so it was the most important thing, and I think that's what the toughest game has been so far. And I think it's right. I remember the game. They played really good, decent football, especially on the artificial grass, but I think essentially we took the game when it came back to the London Stadium. The big thing here is, and we had this debate last night on Forge from Iron when I went on and had their show, you can only play what's in front of you. So I know that the Premier League form has not been great, but European form has been. And no matter the opposition, you've got to go and get the job done. And that's exactly what West Ham and David Moyes have went and done. I'm not a fan of the situation with the management, but I'll back the system right now until the end of the season. But you have to go and get play what's in front of you. And historically, West Ham are known to slip up against lower level opposition. So I suppose the bigger they come, the harder they fall. That's why when we do the draws, I've always said, bring me some big clubs. That's what I'm really keen on as well. The next thing he was asked, though, was about winning a trophy. How important would it be for West Ham to win a trophy? He said the first thing we need to do is we need to stay in the Premier League for sure, and the second main goal for us to lift the trophy. If we stay in the Premier League and we win the Conference League, that would be an unbelievable season. For me, it would be the best trophy I could win for sure. And to be honest, I think we're probably all in agreement with him with regards to this as well. For me personally, I'll be honest with you, if we stay in the league, and the quicker we stay in this league, the better. And we go ahead and win this Conference League, I can't think of a better season in my lifetime. I really, really can't. People can maybe try and equate back to the Intertoto Cup back in 1999, but people try to compare that to this competition, but it's definitely not this competition. And back when we did win the Intertoto Cup, there was 3 finals that year. There's only one final, and there's some really top-notch teams left in the competition. So let's obviously, and he's clearly stated it, winning a trophy is massive for West Ham, but staying in the Premier League is the number one priority for us as well. Keep any questions coming in as well as we go through the rest of the presser. he was asked about last season's European run and how important and vital that will be for us moving forward. And he said, when you lose the game like we lost to Frankfurt last season, it's still in my mind. You never know what might happen. I could be sitting here as a winner of the Europa League. I mean, that's when he says it like that again, it just brings back so many memories of that run and that competition. And you think about the game against Frankfurt and really was there for the taking. And you think, who else got into the final? Rangers, was the game there for the taking? Absolutely. He said, winning a trophy is something extra and every player wants to experience it. Me and my teammates are doing everything this season to repair that from last year, and that would be in the final and lift the trophy. The important thing, I think, was the toughest game so far. But I think essentially, I think it's important that we can bottle up some of that experience that we had from last year in the Europa League, and we can, use that and utilize that for this season's competition as well. He's obviously asked about the final in Prague, considering he is from the Czech Republic. And he said, it's a huge motivation for me and Tommy Souček to bring the West Ham team and all the staff to Prague, show them a beautiful stadium from Slavia Prague and some beautiful places. It's a huge motivation. We have to reach the final, and hopefully we will. And see, to be honest with you, some people weren't really up for this tournament and this competition. I'm jealous of people that are traveling away watching West Ham in Europe, something that I've dreamed of doing and I will do one day. And hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. But I think when you're out there and you're experiencing it, and even now I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, if I'm being honest. I know the season's been crap, but it's a welcome change from the situation. So that's where we want to be. We want to be playing these big games. And essentially that's exactly what happens, when we speak to David Moyes. You'll hear about what he says about being involved in the big games. Now, let's move on to the man himself, the man of the moment, I suppose you could say. Maybe that whether it's the man of the moment in a positive light or man of the moment in a negative light, you can let me know. But he was asked about just Europe in general, and he said, it's great that we're here. To be in Europe at this stage of the season is a big achievement, and long may it continue, but every round you play is tough. I'd love to give the supporters another couple of nights like this, like we did last year, and truly I'd like to go further if we can. I've got big respect for Gent, and we have no divine right to go through. We have to work hard for it and play well. Now, Gent are actually a formidable force within the Belgium League. West Ham, of course, have travelled to Belgium several times. We can't take them lightly, but we can't take any opposition lightly. There's no point in West Ham trying to do that. That's not what we should do. We've not been built like that because, like we said before, we can come up against any level of team, albeit even in the lower leagues, and not turn up on the day. And I think, to be honest, we have to play down being the favourites for the competition. I don't think that suits West Ham. I don't think that suits our style. I don't think that the players really know how to handle that pressure, and I don't think we need to really be in that position. But we'll hold off and see what happens when he talks about the rest of it. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty and let's get into some of the team news. He was asked about team news, and he says, I'm not going to give too much away. And to be honest, I don't disagree with him here, but we've got a lot of important games coming up, as Gent do as well. The chance to get through to a semi-final, we have to take every opportunity we can, and we're not going to give that up easily. And I completely agree with him. He's always given us a little bit of smoke and mirrors for these press conferences, but I did notice the big change and the big shift in the timing of the press conference for the game at the weekend, for the Fulham game. For the press conference, it was a lot earlier. We hadn't even gone to the training yet, so we hadn't really assessed the players that were going to be available. We've seen players. We've put a video out already of the players that have been training today in the open session, and it's clear that we can see what players are potentially going to be available and or are not going to be available. And he was then asked about Gent. He says, every game when you get a knockout stage, it's tough. Gent have had some good wins. They've had an incredible win in Istanbul in the last round. We've obviously been to Belgium a couple of times, and we've done as much homework as we can. We know as much as we can about the individual players and the team itself. The big thing is to reach the standards we've set in Europe. We've had 10 wins, and we want to add to that. We cannot take away from that run in Europe. It's been fantastic, and like we've said, the only thing that makes it sweeter is Premier League survival. So win this game tonight and turn up and do something against Arsenal. My God, could you imagine the confidence that this team would have going into the next leg, the second leg at home? If you can do a job over Gent, and then you can do a job over the league leaders that nobody expects, everyone is predicting an onslaught against West Ham. That's when you need to step up the most. That's when you will give your fan base hope. That is exactly when you give your fan base hope. That will be more if you beat Arsenal, no matter however means necessary. If you beat them, that's going to be more important than not more important, but that for the knock-on effect that could give to West Ham fans and West Ham players and the West Ham team moving in for momentum for the season. These next 2 games for me have now become the new vital ones. The two of them become equally important. It's good you get a job done against Fulham, but what we haven't done is back that up with another win. That's what we need to do this season. You heard Declan Rice in his post-match press conference from the Fulham game. He said, winning 2 games in 3 is the first time this season that we've done 2 in 3, but we've not done 2 in 2, and we've not done 3 in 3 since a long, long time. And that's what we need to put to bed, because if we can do that, you can build a bit of a run and you can build up a little bit of confidence as well. Moyes was asked about the getting to the final. He actually said for any manager to get to European final is a huge thrill. We wouldn't know it because we, as most modern fans, unless you are of similar age to my father, I've not experienced anything like that apart from a obviously playoff final and or an FA Cup final. And I hope we do get to a point where we can talk about it, because the first bit I have to try and do is get to the semi-final. So let's not, take for granted where we are. Let's not think we're going to brush aside this Belgian team, because we're not, blatantly not. They're a strong team. And if we can, then we can build that momentum like I've been talking about as well. Let me move on to Paquetá. Now, this is an interesting one. Paquetá got a bad knock against Newcastle, but he trained on Friday. We felt he might be okay, but his ankle was just a bit too puffy. He's trained again, and we think he'll be okay for tomorrow. So that's really key for West Ham moving forward. Glad to see Paquetá potentially being available for the game tomorrow, whether or not he'll start, whether or not he'll come off the bench. I think he'll get a little bit of game time. I think West Ham will take this reasonably serious, obviously, with it, the one eye on the semi-final coming up. If we can get into the semi-final, trying to put this game to bed in the first leg away from home would be huge. And having players like Paquetá as well, gaining that confidence, and also the fact that Moyes has reasonably switched up against Fulham by playing 2 up top and playing 4 in the midfield. Because if you're going to play 4 in that midfield and you're going to bring Paquetá back into the side, what does that mean for the likes of Tommy Souček? But that's a whole new ball game when we play Arsenal, because we don't know what we're going to do come the Arsenal game. But having Paquetá back will be huge for West Ham as well. The next question thing he was asked about was experience, especially in Europe. He said, I hope the experience we've got from it will help. And because we had a good bit of experience from last season in Europe as well, he said, we lost a goal early against Frankfurt and we had a sending off. I got sent off. We got caught up. Moments on the pitch. Hopefully we've learned. The good thing is we're in the position again. It gives us a chance, and we have to take that chance. And we absolutely do have to take that chance. We've got 2 legs. We want to put this tie to bed in the first leg if we can. That's vital. Not just winning 1-0, walking away and put the pressure on us against Gent at home. If we can put this tie to bed nice and early, we can really focus on the Premier League and then put our focus straight into the second tie at home, where you'll have a bit of breathing space. That's where you'll have the breathing space. So we'll have to see what happens as we move forward there. He was asked about Europe and the league. He said it's good to have momentum if you can, and we've not had it this season. But let's be fair, in this competition, we absolutely have 10 and 10. This competition has given us our best performances and best results, and we want to add to that. And people will always downplay the teams we play in this competition, but don't do it. We're West Ham. Think about Oxford. Think about Cambridge. Think about Kidderminster. We are West Ham United. We do always become, we're not used to being the top dog. It's best for us to be the underdog. It really is best for us to be the underdog. That's why I think we can play this game down and not just brush them aside thinking, bang, we've got a God-given right to get to the final as well. The last question was on the occasion. What's his thoughts on the occasion? He said, for a manager, you want to be involved in the big games, and hopefully we've got a few more to come. No matter what you think of the David Moyes right now, of this situation, what we need to do as a fan base is just ensure we get behind the lads as much as we possibly can. And I know we will. I've got the faith in every single fan. I mean, I've seen fans already heading out there. We'll have some content coming out to you live from Belgium as well over the next couple of days. So stay tuned on the channel for that. But essentially, it's all about everyone being in unison. And concentrating on these next, we've got three of the fixtures, 1 in the Premier League and 2 in the Europa Conference. And if we can just get the job done nice and early, that's my key element. That's what I want from it. Get the job done nice and early in the conference so we can then focus on the Premier League and continue pushing up our season. Freno's in the house. Hi, Anton, bud. Hope all is well. Let's see what Mozoya said today. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed that. Epic hashtag Moyes has never won anything and never will. But I'm hoping, I mean, I know he's not, but I'm hoping he will win something and then he will, have a positive send-off from West Ham come the summer as well. Paul says it's now down to the players to show up, put in the performances, effort, and commitment to get us out of this situation. Come on, you Irons. You are completely right. We need that performance to be backed up on the park from minute one. When it comes to the Gent game, I think we can be reasonably flamboyant if we need to be, but we need to also get the job done. When it comes to Arsenal, I don't think we can soak up the pressure like we did against Fulham because we will get punished for that. So it needs to be a different tactics and tactical, ingenious from David Moyes, which many people don't think he's got, but there's a chance to prove people wrong if he can. So yeah, effort and commitment to get us out of this situation, 100%. Mate, GP's in the house. Good to see you, mate. Hope you are well. Doubt that he'll risk Paquetá if he's not 100%. I think he'll not necessarily start him. You may see a little bit of him, but essentially he has trained with the squad, so he's ready to rock and roll. He may save him for Arsenal, though. He may not need to see him. I think Lanzini will get the shout, but wait till you see the predicted 11 tomorrow. I think Lanzini is in with a good shout, and I still think he's got a part to play for the end of this season moving forward as well. We may have Millwall next season as a big game. Could you imagine that? Jesus. GP saying Russ plays the Tigers Chiefs. I predicted right at halftime in the Millwall fans smash. Oh God! Imagine Millwall get promoted and we get relegated. Questions: are we going to see any new starters such as Cornet and Downs tomorrow? Interesting. What I will say is, join us for the predicted 11 show because we'll go through what we think will come into the team. I think we need to see a bit of transition. No, I think you may see Benrahma play tomorrow. I think there's going to be a mix of Europa Conference team and what you would essentially think would be the Premier League team. But when all the players are fit, who is the right player to play? If you play Benrahma tomorrow, does that mean then you play Cornet on Sunday, or vice versa? I don't know when it comes to that. YGP is Mull getting promoted. What would like Glenn Hoddle and Waddle? Dickon Bobby's great. Oh God, what are you going on about there? We are not going down for Robert Singleton. Ludders, hope all the unrest at the club doesn't affect how the players play tomorrow and the fans boo Moyes and players. Fingers crossed they won't, and I have the faith that they won't. We need to get behind them, but equally though, we need to see the team perform. If they don't perform in the park, Ludders, then I don't know how else you can stop the fans booing it. I mean, I'm going to be sitting here doing the game, and it's going to be really tough, not to feel down if we're playing crap and we're going 1-0 down. But it's about keeping your chin up and focusing because we've done that sort of several times this season, and we're drip feeding results. Not in Europe, we're doing well in Europe. We're 100% record in Europe, but in terms of the Premier League, we're drip feeding results, and that's what we want to kind of get away from as well. Freno, Areola in goal or Fab? Interesting question. I think we all know it's going to be Areola, to be honest. I'll be really surprised if it will be Fabianski. But again, like I said, join us for the predicted 11 tomorrow. Adam Cook says, all right, Anton, thank you very much for joining us, Adam. Good to see you, mate. And thank you for all the support. I'm good, thank you very much. Ings to start or Scammy? Is Scammy okay to play? It looks like Scammy will not be available for the game tomorrow. I don't think he will feature in the game. It looks like he's not recovered in enough time for this particular game either. So I fully expect West Ham to maybe line up without, obviously, with no Scammy in the team. But it will make for interesting reading when you see the team. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hopefully I've not ruined it. The starting 11 come tomorrow, but keep your eye on the channel and we'll go through it as well when we do that moving forward. If we stay up in Millwall, come up, beat us. Oh my God, looks like Gammy's on his way out to me. We'll have to wait and see. We've had some interesting emails sent to us today, so I'm assuming myself and Russ will get over and explain some of those emails to you as well. I think it'll be a refreshing change from the Premier League. We will be confident. Martello, absolutely. Did we do to him what happened to Haller? God, that's a good question. Hopefully not. Did Scam's injury occur playing for Italy or when he got back to England? Good question, Lidders, but we don't actually know. But hopefully he will be fighting fit soon, and we're definitely going to need him. There's no ifs or buts about it. Anyway, short and sweet. There you go. There's your David Moyes press conference. He will be okay for tomorrow, i.e., we're talking about one man only, and that is Lucas Paquetá. That was one of the main focus of the players that came up in this one as well. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Please do that. Hit the thumbs up. Please leave your comments. And we'll be back tomorrow for all your match day content. So make sure you do join us then. There's your press conference. Take it easy, everyone. And of course, come on, you Irons.